Hello guys, welcome to my new video, and you might be asking, why am I doing this? Where's the commentary? Well, I have several reasons why I'm going to do this, talking about the faction emblems. Number one, I miss doing tutorials. So if you notice, I actually started my channel doing a little bit of gameplay, and then I shifted to going to tutorials, and then someone suggested that I should do commentaries, which somehow a little bit of tutorial-esque things going on in there. But I miss doing 080 tutorials as usual, although when it comes to this type of video, it's more of a trivia-ish more than a tutorial. Well, that's my first reason. Number two, I have to test out the new version of OpenShot. Last time I upgraded, I broke it and nearly failed to even upload a video that time because upgrading things in Linux is just very difficult. Number three, you might have noticed that I'm in my new room now. Yeah, I got my new room. Kind of temporary setup. I can at least talk louder now. So if I am going to talk a little bit of softer or something, I have no excuse. But you might notice that there are actually more vehicle sounds right now, because that's because my new room is practically in front or right next to the road, and the only redeeming factor of that is that it's a relatively quiet highway. So I think I have to learn how to edit out those vehicle sounds, or maybe even dog sounds if they start barking again. Okay, so the first reason was I miss doing tutorials, although this one is more of a trivia. Two, testing out my new OpenShot version 2.3.3 at the time of this recording. Three, have a new room. Four, I have to apologize for the sleepy commentary last time, because there's just no excuse for that. Yeah, if that video does not fly for my standards, neither it should to you. And the fifth reason, which is kind of making number four kind of awkward, is that I tried to celebrate my 30 plus subscribers, although maybe by the time this video pops out, maybe I have 40 or so. Well, that's just it. I have 30 subscribers now. That's pretty small for any typical YouTuber, but for small YouTubers like me or starting out, that's kind of a big milestone. Okay, so let's just go ahead to this little bit of trivia, because why am I doing this? I got curious. I know when I look at each of these emblems right here, I already know which faction I am referring to. And if you actually know the game, they're pretty easy to memorize actually. You just have to know the logo or the emblem, and then you will know the faction that you have. The only problem is, you might be asking, why are they the chosen emblems? What makes them, for example, the topmost part, what makes that the Athenian emblem? Why did the developers use that? Or at least specifically the designers did that. Aren't you as curious as I am? Well, this one, I tried to compile it into one video just to know, or at least record what I have learned from these emblems. They are not just based on any random things, although some of them have been taken liberty of choosing an emblem, but they still hold historical value according to the factions. So you might notice that there is a reason why I arranged them. They're not in alphabetical order. But I did arrange them for some reason. Let's just put a summary. The topmost part emblems happen to be the three Greek factions. The ones on the right, well, let's just say that one is Carthage and the two are the Celtic factions. The ones at the bottom, more all over the map, I can't really categorize them very well, because one is from the west, the other is from the Middle Eastern, and the other is just the eastern part of the map. And the third one, aside from Rome, are the successors of the Macedonian Empire. So that's how I arranged them. So I will be starting from the top. And if you are imagining it to be a clock, because each emblem actually corresponds to a number on the clock, there are 12 factions, 12 hours in a clock, or 12. I will be starting with the 11 o'clock, if you understand that. So the 11 o'clock is the Macedonian logo. That's the Vergina Sun, or I personally like to call it the Agreed Star. You can call it the Macedonian Star or Macedonian Sun if you like to. And even this emblem actually exists even until today. You can actually see any Macedonian claiming nation. You just can see it was inherited even from the time of the Agriad dynasty from 700 BC. That's where the royal lineage of Alexander the Great or Philip II, his father. And you may also notice when you do a little bit of a wiki search that this is not actually the quote-unquote proper Macedonian. And I can give you a bonus. The source code of 0EB, yes, you can find it online. That's why it's open source. You can see it. There's a variant of this emblem. You cannot find it in-game, I guess, but it is in the code. It's in the assets. The proper one, which I forgot how many rays of sun. I think it was 16 or something. I don't know. This game has chosen this variation maybe for at least gameplay purposes. You can visualize it much easier than the variant, the proper variant. Next up, the Athenians have the Owl of Athena. And you might notice in the right side of the owl are 3 Greek letters, Alpha, Theta, and Epsilon. I'm not sure why it's an epsilon. Maybe Wiki says it means of the Athenians, and also Athenian, or that's the first 3 letters of Athena, right? Well, not exactly, as Athena is actually spelled with Alpha, Theta, Eta, not an epsilon. So you might pronounce it as Athena instead of Athena or something. But this emblem has been known to be carved out all throughout the Athenian civilization. But it's a more known engraving on the coins and being used as an emblem on the Athenian shield. So that's how we know it, because of course they will get their name Athenians, so they will attribute themselves to the Greek deity. Next, the Spartan emblem is called the Lambda Blazon. Almost everybody knows that, but you can actually wonder, yes, that emblem, that chevron, is actually the Greek letter lambda, equivalent to the letter L. It stands for Lacedaemon. That's another name for Sparta, actually. Lacedaemon. So the Spartans were called also the Lacedaemonians back in classical antiquity times. They're more known or attributed with that name, aside from Sparta. I'm not sure the difference, but there is a difference in there. Let's just say the Spartans were also called Lacedaemonians, and Sparta can be also called Lacedaemon. And it can be debatable if this was used as an emblem on the shield or not. I've done a little bit of reading. There's been a debate whether they used it or not. But regardless of the fact, it's very well known that it is a very Spartan emblem. The Spartan logo, in the source, it also has a variant. Just mentioning that. Next, let's go for the Carthaginian emblem. That's the sign of Tanit. Who is Tanit? It's recorded as a deity of Carthage, being Romanized later, called Celeste. So she's the woman deity of the heavens, or maybe the night sky, because there is a variant of this emblem that she has a crescent moon off her head. And if you're wondering, that's actually a woman raising her arms with her inner arms. I'm not sure with my terminology. Inner arms directly parallel, horizontal, while the outer extremities are facing up. That's called the sign of Tanit. Whoever the Tanit is, Carthage is known for her. It might be a well-known engraving or the leftover remains of Carthage if ever there was. But there you go. And next, the Gallic or the Gauls emblem. Not really sure why it's chosen, I thought the Celtic people liked symmetry, but then there's a wiki article that says no, they don't. They only occasionally do that. But I'm more convinced that Celtic civilizations, when they're doing their artwork, they pretty much like the symmetry, and this happens to be one of them. The Triskelion is a motif consisting of triple spiral exhibiting royal rotational symmetry. So that's 3 circles looking a little bit like of a triangle. Triskelion coming from the word 3 legs or something, and those circles that make up those 3 legs, they're considered the Archimedean spirals. They represent things that I'm not sure. History of the Celtics, I'm not an expert. Okay, let's just move on. Next, for the Celtic ones is the Britons. This is the Battersea Shield. Oh, not exactly. It's a decoration on the Battersea Shield. Well, what part of the design of the Battersea Shield, because the Battersea Shield is actually a tall oblong, so that means the shield is not round. So you can actually imagine this. This emblem has a smaller version of it on the top and a smaller version on the bottom, just so you can complete the picture of that shield. And this one happens to be the center of the shield. Why is it being attributed to the Britons? I'm not sure. The only source I can see here is that it was found on the British Isles. Whether it was made from the British Isles or it was sent there is a matter of debate again. But the fact remains that it was found in there, so that's one of the freedoms that the designers used to this is Britannic. This emblem is Britannic because it was found in the British Isles, and it represents, again, the symmetrical motif of the Celtics, specifically the Britons. Next, the Lotus Flower, the Indian national flower. This design can also be seen in-game if you build the Great Stupa, the wonder of the Mauryaans. And the meaning of the Lotus Flower, it's being attributed with a lot of virtues, and I'm not sure if I could actually delve into that, why these type of virtues are attributed to the Lotus Flower. Maybe we'll do some commentary on each of these emblems for another time, but that's all I know. Next, to the Iberian emblem, that's the Caetra, or I forgot to mention that I am going to be pronouncing this the way I prefer. I think Caetra is a Spanish word, I'm not sure. Lion gave me a little bit of info. The only problem was that I can't even make up a little bit of the Google Translate. I cannot translate this one easily, but I believe it's just the Spanish word for shield, and it is pretty much the shield. If you actually search for any Caetras in there, I think this is the only design. Whether this one is actually a natively Iberian emblem, the point is you're just looking at the shield made by the Iberians. So that's what makes it Iberian. Not exactly maybe national thing, just like the Macedonian Vergina Sun or the Greek ones, right? They're out of a deity pride, the national pride, things like that. This one is just out of a shield, made out of a shield. Anything historical about it, I'm really not sure. Let's move on. Next, for the Persians. Again, I will not contest how this should be pronounced. You can criticize me for mispronouncing this one. I'll just call it Faravahar. It's the symbol of Zoroastrianism. And if you will look up the wiki article for this, you will notice that this version in the 0 AD emblem, it lacks the human figure. It's being said that the human figure was added later, so that means 0 AD is trying to be more historical or something. Maybe. And what does the Faravahar represent? The Zoroastrian faith. Whether the Zoroastrian faith was introduced to Persia or came from Persia, the point is Persia was well known for this emblem. That's just it. It was well known that the Achaemenid Empire spread Zoroastrianism throughout the Mediterranean world, and that's how well known it is, and even to the point that it became almost synonymous with the Persian nation itself. So that means that the state and religion were pretty much synonymous at that time. If you were not a Zoroastrian, you are not Persian, something like that. And also the Faravahar represents an angel, your personal guardian, the winged disc, the disc with wings. It guards from your birth, living, dying. So I'm not sure if each one of you, if you're a Zoroastrian, you believe that everybody will have one winged disc for every time. For each person, there will be a winged disc guarding everyone. Next, I put Rome polar opposite with the Carthaginian emblem purposefully because, history. The only problem is that I think this one is the only logo that has real mythical proportions to it. If you will be checking out Rome's legendary history of being founded by twin brothers, abandoned by a pagan god, but then, these twin brothers, Romulus and Remus, were abandoned as babies, but then was found and raised by a she-wolf. So that means, historically, legend speaking, there should be only one wolf and two babies. And this is where what I meant by mythical part. there are two wolves in here, so I think it represents Romulus and Remus in wolf form, where maybe they're still fighting for now of what we will call Rome. We will call it Rome or Rem or something like that. Next, Ptolemaic emblem. When you say something is Hellenized, you mean just like the Egyptians. This is the Ptolemies, right? Hellenized Egypt. The Greeks will put down their culture into a nation. So when Egypt is being influenced by the Greeks or Hellenized, you expect that their culture will become Greek. And this is where somehow backwards, the Greeks adopted one of the deities of the Egyptians and then made it their own. Just like what Rome did to the great pantheon. So this one is the eagle of Zeus. If I remember correctly, the Greek Zeus didn't actually have an eagle. It was his own image for some things. So that means this is a transitional emblem chosen. The designers can have their own. They can choose their own emblems as they want to, and they chose the eagle of Zeus, the supreme deity of let's just say the supreme deity of the Egyptians. The Greeks copied it, named it on another deity and named him Zeus. And ironically, the Rome did the same. They took out Zeus and called him Jupiter, I think. So that's how they work. Next up, the Seleucids. The Seleucids were known for two logos. One is the elephant and the other is this one. Seleucus was known for his legends about an anchor. The anchor represents power, not because they are the naval power. It's just because the anchor itself represents power or stuff of legends that even trace back to Alexander the Great having an anchor-like birthmark or something, that even Seleucus himself claimed that he had that kind of birthmark. So that's how the Seleucid Empire got its emblem. So let's review. The Griad Star, Vergina Sun, the Owl of Athena, the Lambda Blazon, Sign of Tanit, Triskelion, Battersea Shield, Lotus Flower, Caetra, Faravahar, Romulus and Remus, Eagle of Zeus, and Anchor of Seleucus. So that's it. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time.